Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to talk about how we've been lied to about our body for a very long time. And the New World Order, these secret societies, the master psychologists that run the world, ladies and gentlemen, the movers of the chess pieces, so to speak, the puppet masters, if you will, they understand that the human body has the capability of becoming enlightened far beyond what we're currently experiencing. But not only the body, but the mind, the consciousness, every aspect of what makes us who we are, ladies and gentlemen. And it's because of their understanding of this capability that lies within us that they seek to keep us suppressed. They want to keep us from ever evolving. Because as I've said in many videos, and I'll continue to say or mention, Earth has become an energy farm, and the human beings in this dimension are the batteries that are providing the energy. What do you think the movie The Matrix was about? Go back and watch the first Matrix film and watch when Morpheus pulls out the Duracell battery and says that they've turned us into this. He tells Neo that when they're plugged into some type of training simulation. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen the film. But it's true. The archon, which is the true Satan, has set up Earth to be an energy grid, an energy farm. And our bodies produce this gigantic amount of electrical voltage. Our bodies produce what's known as vril or orgone or chi or life force, kundalini energy, etc. Our body produces this energy. And it is the most valuable energy source in the galaxy. We just don't know that because we live in a very suboptimal state where we don't know that we even have chakras because we've never experienced what it's like to have them awakened. We don't know what it's like to experience enlightenment. We don't know what it's like to have the kundalini energy moving through our systems. We don't know what it's like. So we've bought into this idea that we're just these simple creatures. Because we don't know that we have these large, we don't know that we have a large capacity for growth and for evolution. We don't understand and know that we can become enlightened, that we can fuse with God, our flesh can, and our consciousness. This is what Kundalini does. So because we live in this suboptimal state where we're disconnected from the truth, we are very easily manageable by the factory farmers, if you will, which are the archons that run the earth farm, where they cultivate our energy. This is why Earth has been kept in a state of constant turmoil. Human energy is very potent, but you know what's even more potent than human energy in the form of elation? Like when you're happy, you produce a lot of good energy, but you know what's even more powerful than that? Turmoil, the energy that comes from stress, the energy that comes from depression, war, violence, murder, you name it. And that's why Earth is kept in a state of lack of balance. That's why the system wants us to constantly look at things in a dualistic perspective. But it's not even dualistic anymore, folks. It's not like, oh, there's a left and a right. There's like 1,000 different options. 1,000 different religions and 1,000,000 different things that all say that the other thing is bad. For instance, one religion says that the other religion is of the devil, but that same religion says that the opposite religion is of the devil, vice versa, vice versa, vice versa. And so the wheel turns. We're kept fighting amongst one another because it keeps us from breaking free from the archon's grasp, because it keeps us in a state of emotionality. When you're emotional, ladies and gentlemen, you don't think very logically. You just don't. And that's why we've got to seek to remove all of the emotion that we have about everything and get back into a more divine state of consciousness where we aren't so reactive. But that's a rant for an upcoming video. We'll save that. But Earth is kept as an energy farm, and most people do not know that Earth is an energy farm because they've never experienced the aura. They've never actually experienced Kundalini energy. They don't know what it's like to have the electrical voltage of the divine moving through their chakras and awakening them. But if you were to experience that, you would realize and understand what I say, or you would understand what I mean when I say that the body can be used as a fuel source. especially for what are known as PNOBs, or predatory non-organic beings. Things that exist in the world that we live in, but we can no longer see them because we operate within a very limited scope of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. You see, our senses have been programmed. Our minds have been manipulated. Our ability to see past our blinders has been greatly hindered. And these entities exist within the predatory, or they exist within the electromagnetic spectrum, but they happen to exist within a bandwidth that we no longer can perceive. Now, this is one of the most ingenious things done by the archon as well, ladies and gentlemen, because the archon has set this reality up so that by interacting with it and becoming, a part of it, you lose your ability to actually perceive past your blinders. I hope that makes sense. So when you were younger, let me just put it this way, when you were younger, you were much more in tune with what was actually going on around you. You were able to have a much more open mind. Things were much more magical for you, most likely. You may have even seen spirits when you were younger, both good and bad. There's a good chance that your parents told you that was all make-believe, and even though it wasn't. But what I'm trying to convey here is that there was probably, for you at least, for many of us, if you had a decent childhood, there was probably a period in your life where you were able to see a little bit deeper into the electromagnetic spectrum, the full scope of reality. But as you get the injections, as your parents tell you that those things aren't real, as you go to school, as you get bombarded with all of the peer pressure to fit in and dress a certain way to be cool and all this other nonsense, you lose your identity and you start to fall out of that open-minded perspective, and your assemblage point starts moving to a new position, a position that is suitable to the archon. So I've talked about the assemblage point in recent videos. Not going to bring it up again. I've mentioned it in recent videos and multiple old videos. Go back and watch those videos about the assemblage point. The assemblage point of the masses has been moved to a very specific position so that they're pretty much all the people are the same. That is why you can talk to 100 different people in one day, and it's like you're talking to the same person. Sure, there's subtle nuances. People dress differently. They might say certain things that are or they may... I've gotten a lot of sun today, guys, so excuse me. What I'm trying to say is that although people have subtleties that are different interests and hobbies, political ideologies, etc., they're generally speaking, they're the same. That's because their assemblage point has been put into a specific position by the archon, and that position keeps you, the position of the assemblage point that it's currently at for most people, keeps them from being able to interact or see deeper into the electromagnetic spectrum. And isn't that convenient? Or how convenient is that to the archon, folks? Let's just put it that way. I think I've gotten like 2 hours worth of direct sunlight, and my mind gets a little mushy after that much sunlight. But again, Earth is kept as an energy farm, and one of the greatest ways that they keep us bleeding out energy is fighting amongst one another, creating stress, obligations with, contracts that we make with the matrix. We have to make payments on bills, and we get ourselves, people get themselves, into situations that are just exceptionally stressful. So you just start bleeding energy out like solar flares right from your body's protoplasm directly through your energy field and right on out of it. And that energy that is like distilled blood, if you will, metaphorically speaking, for the archon, gets fed into the hijacked God grid and fed directly to the archon. I explained what the God grid is in past videos on the assemblage point. Please go watch those. So by keeping us unaware of the magic of our body and its ability to become enlightened, they can use us as sheep pretty much. Because when you don't understand the true power of your body, you're kept in a state of powerlessness. When you aren't aware of the fact that you can become enlightened, that you can live past 150, that you can do anything you put your mind to, essentially, when you become aware of that stuff, life changes for you. So we need to try to break free from the barriers that have been put on us. Tahuti talks about this in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, about how it is exceptionally difficult to break free from the archon's grasp, in that every single part of this world, or the matrix, if you will, is a control grid. And that the archon has set traps one after the other, so it takes a very, very keen mind to be able to see past the programming. And it takes a very courageous individual, because the stress that comes from realizing the truth of reality is exponential. This is why I'm constantly reminding you guys of the importance of shielding yourself with shungite, getting the magnesium up, because the more stressed you are, the more magnesium you're going to burn through. Becoming conscious is a double-edged sword. You become more conscious, but you also become more conscious of the negative. And for many people, that can be too much, because the world that we live in is darker than you think. There are things going on underground, behind closed doors, by government officials. I'm not even going to get into it. You can find shades of evil everywhere you look. But by keeping your assemblage point in a very specific position, you're numb to that. You're too busy with your job. You're too busy trying to make ends meet. You're too busy worrying about what to wear to the bar next weekend. You're not worried about waking up the sleeping serpent in your pelvic region and becoming enlightened and taking back the armor of God that was stolen from you at a young age. No, that's not really important, is it? So, by keeping us in a state of ignorance, we are kept manageable. Do you really think that truly conscious and enlightened people are easy to manage? Absolutely not. And when I say enlightened, I'm not talking about someone who's smart. I'm talking about someone who has mastered the kundalini energy. And I am in no way, shape, or form that person. I don't have the energy moving through my system right now. I do, however, know for a fact that I've experienced it on a handful of occasions, and it showed me things about this human body and about this earth that were kept a secret from me. They lie to us about our body, they lie to us about our potential, and they lie to us about the earth that we live on. There are innumerable mysteries to this earth. But we live in a magical forest, ladies and gentlemen. I shit you not. We live in a magical fucking forest. A tropical one. An Arctic one. A desert. I mean, reality makes the most vivid video game look like bantha fodder. This is an amazing experience that we have, folks. An amazing experience. Shield yourself. Work your magic. Become more conscious. Go into your inner temple and ask your mind, ask your subconscious, to tell you what you need to do to progress. Pray. Ask God to reveal the truth to you. Stop buying into all this nonsense and being caught up with all the negativity. Ask yourself this: do you experience more negativity or more positivity? And be really honest with yourself, because most people experience a constant loop of negativity within the mind, with all the mental chatter that the archon projects into them, with the obligations. I mean, this is just insane. So, we should all come together and realize that we're all broken, and that we need to put ourselves together like Isis put Osiris back together along the Nile. We need to rebuild ourselves. We need to work on our energy gathering techniques. I mean, hell, I fucking even have a giant ditch that I've dug out in my backyard. It's like 6 feet deep that I go and lay in and cover myself up in to let the earth rebalance my chakras. There's no limit to what you can be doing. You have the ability to get super creative, rebalance your mind and get back into that state you were in before the system stole your soul. Before the Matrix took away that youth magic that you once had. Go rekindle that flame. Because if you don't, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be living a really boring life. So each of our chakras, they are these vortexes of energy that connect us to the physical plane, the non-physical, the multiple dimensions around us, the fourth and fifth dimensions, the angelic kingdom, the elemental kingdom. And they've severed our connection to anything beyond the Svadhisthana chakra, which is the sexual chakra. The Muladhara and the Svadhisthana, I think I'm pronouncing them both right. I just call them the root and the second chakra, but they do have fancy names. But the bottom two chakras are the most important because they're the foundation that everything else is built upon, but they've got us stuck in the lowest electrical wattage of these two chakras. And they also have us bleeding out our energy through constant ejaculation, constant sex, constant stress, you name it. So how do you rebalance those two chakras? You start by grounding yourself. These two primary chakras, the base chakras, connect you to the earth. So standing barefoot on the earth helps balance these two chakras. In no way, shape, or form is that just an end-all be-all. And in many ways, shapes, and forms, I'm still learning to, figure these chakras out. We were never given an instruction manual on how this kundalini energy works. We're all trying to collectively figure this out. Those of us who are interested in this art, the kundalini. But grounding yourself in kundalini yoga, boom. That is a foundation that will take you to heights unimaginable if you actually do something with it. Combine it with the heliotherapy and the vitamin E and the shilajit. There's no limit to what we can do, ladies and gentlemen. There's no limits. But we were stuck in this quagmire, in this stagnation. So, anyways, you guys, I want to wrap this one up. Unfortunately, my phone's about to die. There's a lot more that can be said. Until next time, peace be with you.